Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first series of Lunch and Learn sessions RAP is hosting over the coming months. This first session is in association with the Food and Drink Federation, and it's great to see so many of you joining the call. My name is Hugh Jones, and I'm a specialist in food waste prevention in the Food System Transformation team, and I am joined by fellow team members Asha and Emma. I'll provide a brief introduction to RAP, the Food and Drink Federation, and the Food Waste Reduction Roadmap, and provide advance notice of further sessions. I will then pass you on for the main event to Dini to present on Zest's work with the sector. Please feel free to use the Q&A function in Teams to raise any questions you may have, as we plan to leave time at the end of the session to address any queries. For those of you not aware, RAP is a global environmental action charity transforming our broken product and food systems to create circular living for the benefit of climate, nature, and people. For 25 years, RAP has delivered programs that reduce carbon dioxide and waste, restore nature, and change people's behavior. Our mission is to embed circular living in every boardroom and every home. Our focus for the food system is simple but powerful: cutting food waste, greenhouse gas emissions, and managing water sustainably. Actions that mean families can afford to put food on the table, businesses can thrive on smarter supply chains, and nature can recover from cleaner rivers to more resilient farmlands. We do this by convening businesses, governments, and civil society through food pacts, setting credible targets with Target Measure Act and food loss and waste protocols, delivering net zero plans through Scope 3 water stewardship and on-farm food waste, shaping global and national policy, embedding Sustainable Development Goal 12.3, and engaging citizens through Love Food, Hate Waste and behaviour change campaigns. The Food and Drink Federation supports its 300 food and drink members, fulfilling several roles, engaging with policymakers and stakeholders to shape policy and initiatives, sharing of best practices, support and innovations to and among members, collaboration among manufacturers, government along the supply chain and across sectors, promoting good practice and providing an industry voice, and notably supporting RAP's work as an engagement partner in the UK Food and Drink Pact. Taking action on food waste. The RAP's Food Waste Reduction Roadmap adopts the Target Measure Act approach to tackling food waste. It asks businesses to set a food waste reduction target for your UK operations, measure in a consistent way and share what you've learned. And we'll hear from Dini the importance of measurement and the power of accurate and timely data. Take action to reduce food waste within your own operations, your supply chain and consumer, i.e. help reduce household food waste through the support of campaigns such as RAP's Love Food, Hate Waste. The roadmap is free to sign up to, and RAP provides practical steps to getting started through toolkits, resources and guidance, all freely available on our website. However, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So if you're not already signed up to the roadmap, commit and act now and start to reduce costs within your business. If you are signed up, then encourage your suppliers and customers to commit to the roadmap to help tackle inefficiencies within your supply chain. If you would like further information, please visit the webpage or contact the Food System Transformation team via foodwasteroadmap@rap.ngo. The purpose of these sessions is to share learning, encourage discussion, support continuous improvement, and more importantly, stimulate action. These are the working titles for the next sessions, so please feel free to suggest topics and put yourselves forward to share examples of best practice. We would also be very grateful for your feedback on today's session. I'm now delighted to hand you over to Dini, co-founder of Zest Solutions, on how AI is used to build a business-wide view of the hidden cost of food waste and the associated operational inefficiencies, and how this knowledge is then used to identify the hotspots, allowing the business to take action to reduce unavoidable waste. Dini is happy to take questions at the end, so please use the Q&A function. Over to you, Dini.
Thank you very much, Hugh. I'm just requesting to take control of your screen, if that's okay. And while we're waiting for that, Emma, I can't see the Q&A yet, so I don't know whether it's worth turning on chat instead, if that's possible, just so people can put questions as and when they have them. If possible.
So have you got control? Sorry, Dini.
I'm afraid still not granted. I'm waiting for approval.
It hasn't popped up. Shall I advance the slides in the meantime?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Amazing. So thank you everyone for having me, Hugh. What a great introduction. Yeah, RAP are just doing such an amazing job around the education of food waste reduction and how you actually get there. For us at Zest, and my background is food and drinks manufacturing, I have found it really hard historically to actually see in granular enough detail what is going on in real time when it comes to waste. And so our solution is all about starting with visibility to enable you to then take the right action against it. And yeah, Hugh and the team at RAP and Food and Drink Federation have invited me specifically to talk because RAP is my baby. I set it up 3 years ago on a mission to help you guys to eradicate your own waste. So thank you very much for having me. Very happy to take any questions at the end, as Hugh said. And we also are running a lot of pilots at the moment and working with a multitude of different food and drinks manufacturers to really test the technology and prove its value. So yeah, any questions are welcome. Hugh, if you're happy to go to the next slide, that'd be fab. Thank you. So just a little bit about the background. Food waste is a massive issue, as I'm sure you're all aware and see it on your P&L and bottom line every day. But 40% of food that is produced gets wasted before it actually reaches the supermarket shelf. So you can see that loaf of bread, all of the grayed out area, that is all wasted before it actually reaches the supermarket, which is totally crazy. Do you mind going to the next? Thank you. When talking about where that waste is actually happening, there's 7 times more food waste that happens at a food manufacturing level versus at retail. We know home is also a massive contributor to this issue, but food manufacturing has a massive role to play to help reduce this waste. And when looking at the numbers, McKinsey did a very helpful bit of research a couple of years ago, which showed that food waste adds up to 10% onto food manufacturers' cost of goods. Obviously, that's sort of sector agnostic, and it's taking an average. And we've worked with food manufacturers who have 1.5% waste intensity to up to 18%, and that does vary. But you have to start tracking it at a granular level to really see the truth in those numbers. From a cost perspective, it actually costs you, as an industry in the UK, just under £7 billion every single year. That's real cash that the industry is losing out on. And from a carbon perspective, it emits, the wasted food emits the equivalent of what 11 million cars give out in CO2 emissions every year. So it has a massive impact on the planet. So currently, what food manufacturers see are 2 things, and I'm very happy for anyone to put questions in the comments so we can continue learning, but this is off a lot of research and my own experience as well. So typically when it comes to waste, you see the volume at a site level, and you might have an average on a line looking at the inputs and outputs of waste, but typically it's all laddered up to see volume at a site. You might have, depending on what sector you're in, some sort of revenue stream from either animal feed or anaerobic digestion, which will be a tangible data point that you actually see. Again, that will be on a factory or site level usually. Typically, what that doesn't show you are, first off, the key drivers of waste. Without being able to see at a granular level exactly what stage the waste or surplus is happening at, it makes it pretty hard to work out exactly what is causing the waste there and then without spending a lot of hours doing waste walks. And that obviously gives you one snapshot, but doesn't give you a continuous idea. It doesn't necessarily show you the amount of edible food that is going to waste. Now, if you don't see exactly where it comes off across the production process, you might be sending food that is still edible, still has valuable sort of human nutrition that is going downgraded, going to animal feed, anaerobic digestion, or other waste routes. And therefore, you don't see the full social and environmental impact of this waste either. So a very quick overview of what our technology does. So we have 3 different stages to it, and the world of AI is very beautiful, and it plays a massive part in each stage of our solution. So in simple terms, and I will go into a little bit more detail about each of these stages in a second, the first thing that we need to do is to be able to create visibility. So we track in real time the product process flow that is going across your production line. So we use AI to get a good idea of exactly what is happening at each stage of your production process, and I'll talk about how that is harnessed in a second, to give us a very clear, in as close to real time as possible, view of what is going on and where waste is being dropped out of the production process. The second piece of technology that we have creates insights and alerts to help avoid the waste in real time. So we can identify different hotspots and different drivers of that waste and actually send alerts back into your existing systems to help you reduce it, because obviously the best thing for you to do is not have that waste in the first place. However, we are realists. We know that eradicating every single kg of waste or surplus is not realistic. There are always going to be some byproducts and work in progress goods. So that's where the third pillar of our technology comes in. We use AI to help optimize how it is redistributed, understanding where it is in your production process, what value that then has for the rest of the market, and then helping to get it visible and seen by the right people so that you can actually make it as easy to redistribute as it is to send to animal feed and put into a bucket for it to be collected by whichever animal feed provider you have. So that's a simple overview of the three pillars of our technology. Thank you. So for the visibility, AI is fundamental to allow us to do this. What we do is we take various different existing data points that you might already have from ERP, looking at what is what is scheduled to go into your recipe mix and what you're using that day. We take production line data, looking at any sort of screen you might have across a production line, any weight or any information that you'll have at various different stages across your production process. We can use demand planning. We can use PDF waste reports. We can use computer vision, which essentially is us putting cameras on any screens or part of your production process that we need to capture data on, which isn't currently being captured digitally. And we can turn that into data sets as well. And what this gives us is the amalgamation of all of that data, your existing data, plus our ability to capture new data and turn it into data sets, gives us this beautiful view of your production process. So historically, you could see inputs and outputs, and it would all get laddered up to a factory level waste report. We can now start showing you what is going on stage by stage. So you'll see the picture on the right, which breaks down an apple pie line. This is using generic data because we don't want to share anyone's data that we already have. Can see the stages on the left-hand side, 1 to 6. So starting off with pastry making, then dough rolling. We can see the material input in each one. We can then start to understand the losses that happen at each stage and actually where the destination is. And it's that combination of being able to see the loss of the stages plus where it goes that enables us to start identifying the hotspots, work out where the value loss is. For us as a business, we don't know your operations better than you do. We aren't consultants. We don't come in saying you then need to buy this new machinery to change it here, but we give you the data to actually understand what is going on in a really granular way when it comes to waste. So you can then make the decision to, if you're losing X amount in one area, to look at whether it requires an operational change to reduce that food waste, or whether actually it's not worth it. And understanding where it goes enables us to then support you with the right decisions of where it actually should be redistributed to. Should it be going to animal feed, or can we get it higher up the food waste hierarchy, always following WRAP's food waste hierarchy, ensuring that anything that is edible actually stays in the human food system. So improved visibility directly leads to a reduction, and this is also part of WRAP's roadmap, and we help to provide that visibility to enable the action to be taken to reduce waste. So we can help to show on a product level, on a line level, what your waste intensity actually is, and that is in real time as well. We can show you the direct cost, the value and volume of that waste. We can show you which stage that most of the waste is contributed by, and we can also start to play around with things like waste value loss. So for a lot of factories that we have worked with, they are quite wedded to any income streams from anaerobic digestion or animal feed. But actually, when you look at the cost of waste to the business plus the revenue stream that you actually generate through, let's say in this example, through sending to animal feed, you actually get a very, very minimal return. So in the grand scheme of things, it really helps to paint a clearer picture of what that food waste cost to you as a business is. The other interesting piece from a cost perspective of being able to granularly visualize the waste is, instead of it just being an ingredient cost, we can start, because we can see which stage it's lost at, we can start to apply the operational costs attributed to that section of waste or food loss. We can look at the labor cost and things like that and create a more educated picture of what this food waste is actually costing you as a business. And then the alerts that we can apply, again, help to reduce it. So we're not just giving you a whole load of new data, we are giving you actionable insights to understand where the waste is and to stop it in real time. And we've got case studies and things that we can share with you after if you're interested in seeing that. So as I said before, we're dreamers in the fact that we really believe that this amazing industry that we have can reduce your food waste, and you can hit all of the targets that we're all as an industry trying to hit. But we do know redistribution plays a big part in this, and it's not 100% around reduction. So when it comes to redistribution, by visualizing where these waste streams are, we make it easier to redistribute all of your work in progress goods that still have a value to them, as well as your finished packaged goods, if that is a process that you haven't already nailed down internally. So we create visibility of where this surplus is, and we can work with you as a business to set the targets of what you're trying to achieve. So what you set in the head office can actually then be achieved at a factory or site level. So you can choose as a business exactly how much you want to recoup financially. You can choose to prioritize donating X amount of meals a year, or you can set it on a best emissions goal as well. All of this gives control back to you as a manufacturer, rather than relying on other parties to support you and not necessarily having control of what goes on at a factory level. So we provide this visibility for you. We provide it to other providers to ensure that food is redistributed at its highest possible value. And when I say value, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about the other targets that you can set as a business. And the whole aim of this is to make it as easy for you to redistribute as it is for you to currently send it to something like animal feed. So taking out a lot of the manual labor, automating the communications with a company shop, for example, if you're sending it to them with FareShare. So none of that needs to be a manual, someone on the phone calling up, etc. We can automate that whole process to actually make it happen. So just a little bit about where we started applying this technology. We actually have built majority of our technology in partnership with Nestle, which has been absolutely amazing for us, and it's been a fantastic journey to see Nestle and their want to support the rest of the industry. So for us, the partnership started with a redistribution project that we did with Nestle, whereby we managed to redistribute 87% of all of their edible surplus, which gave them a 40% cost improvement and saved a lot of CO2. Now, after we did that project, we then really understood the visibility was a key issue. And since then, we've been spending the last year building out the rest of our technology to improve how they track their waste at a factory level, starting off in their confectionery lines and now moving to cereals as well. Really understanding where those waste streams are so that we can have that earlier visibility, tell them what is happening at a granular level to enable more efficient redistribution, or in the first place, actually a reduction in waste. So we've got some really exciting findings that help us to do both that, reduce and redistribute. So since then, we have been piloting our technology with a multitude of other food manufacturers, and you might be, I can't see any faces on this, but so I can't see whether any of you are currently running pilots with us, but we are running pilots with snack industry, with ready meals, with just such a multitude of different types of manufacturing lines, which has been totally fascinating for us because it really helps us prove out where the technology is applicable. And we haven't yet found a case where we haven't added improved visibility. So yeah, I guess it's been a really, really exciting year for us, and we've got a lot more learning to do, and we've got a lot to provide from a visibility perspective to hopefully many of you in this virtual room today. So currently we are running pilots which are 70% funded by Innovate UK. So Innovate UK are a large government funding body. They've recognised the importance of this technology to support with resource efficiency in the UK. And we are running these pilots up until the end of March. So if anyone is interested in joining us or exploring a pilot, Hugh, actually, if you go to the next slide, you can see my email address. So my email address is dini@zestsolutions.io. If you want to email me, drop me a message on LinkedIn, whichever is more convenient for you. I'm very happy to explore any questions or working together.